Hey, what's up, Colts Nation? It's Josh Hudgens from the Common Colt Podcast. The Colts Podcast is real takes and no clickbait. And Colts fans, we have beat the Tennessee Titans. Boy, that feels good. And after games, we do reactionary podcasts or shows, and we like to give one-word reactions. So I'd like you guys to subscribe and give your one word below. But my one word's simple. We needed this game. We had to have it, and we got it to stay alive in kind of that playoff race. If we wanted to stay relevant, we had to beat the Titans, and we did that. Quick note about the Titans. We talk about some teams that are trending up and trending down. I just don't see a direction for that franchise. I don't think Will Levis is going to be the guy there. They have a lot of old kind of leftover talent like DeAndre Hopkins, Tony Pollard, some guys that were just like no longer on their original teams. And when I look at that team, I feel like they have a lot of work to do. So it's almost like a situation where, hey, sometimes we feel bad about ourselves, but if you want to feel a little bit better, go check out the Titans situation because it's not good. Now, if I'm in the locker room and if I'm tossing out a game ball, I've got to give my game ball to Josh Downs. The dude has stepped up this season. He showed development last year. I was really excited when they drafted him last year, and he has continued to perform at a really solid level. And remember, he came off an injury, and we didn't know how much we were missing, I think, until now that he's back. We were missing a big part of our offense, and Joe Flacco especially has really utilized him on third downs, and he has just become such a good route runner. I'm really impressed with Josh Downs and his development as a slot receiver and just moving the chains for the Colts. Now, outside of Josh Downs, when I look at the offense, I feel like they weren't their sharpest today. They were really, really missing Jonathan Taylor. Trey Sermon he just couldn't get anything going. He seemed indecisive when it came to picking holes. Goodson actually looked better than Sermon, and that was kind of cool to see. But we really missed Jonathan Taylor, and Zach Moss leaving Indianapolis has kind of become a bigger hole than I think we thought it might be. People always say running back is kind of a plug and play position until you get a guy that doesn't plug and play, and it becomes a bigger deal. The receivers outside of Downs stepped up as well. Pittman, of course, really gritty, tough game he had. He had that touchdown catch where he went up and Moss sneed. That was cool to see. And Alec Pierce, who didn't have a big game in the stat line, I feel he got open deep a couple times. Flacco missed him once or twice. He did draw that big pass interference call. So I feel like the Colts receivers are kind of finding their roles a little bit, which is cool. You got the Josh Downs, who's the chain moving slot guy. Pittman's the big time red zone possession catch receiver. And Pierce can blow the top off you. So it's kind of cool to see that wide receiver core complement each other well. And I'm sure that's what Ballard had in mind when he took those guys. And it's starting to kind of come all together, which is really cool to see. Now, the defense, and I was really hating the defense early in this game. I thought they looked bad early, but they made some second half adjustments. They held Will Levis to under 100 yards passing, which is pretty wild given the injuries we have. And the secondary was just kind of thin in general. So that was cool to see. I think Jones had a great game. Just a solid defensive performance, especially in the second half, especially late in the game, creating turnovers when the offense didn't really move the ball well to help put the game away. The Titans really had a couple chances to score and get a field goal, and they really didn't. Coaching, I'm going to talk about coaching for a second. I didn't think that was a great game by Shane. I don't think he called a great game. I don't think he's been a great game manager this season. I feel like there's been a couple times when it comes to play calling, when it comes to timeouts at the end of halves, I feel like Shane Steichen really hasn't been great. I think he's actually regressed compared to last year. So I'd like to see Shane step it up. But overall, we got a win over a team we needed to get a win over. And now the elephant in the room is this. Colts won a game. Joe Flacco was solid. Didn't look as good as he looked the week prior, but they got a win. And that has some people talking about, do you start Joe Flacco over Anthony Richardson for the foreseeable future, maybe even the remainder of the season? And I see the point people are making because right now, I think you cannot argue that the Colts are a better team with Joe Flacco. When he's moving the ball, when he's in rhythm, he looks sharp. And that is very aesthetically pleasing to us fans. But at the same time, looking at the big picture, and it's hard to, but if you pull back and look at the big picture, outside of Anthony Richardson's development, which we really need to get a pulse on this season, and he's going to have to play for us to get that feeling and see if he can grow and see if he can develop. Right now, how he's been playing, Anthony Richardson isn't the guy, but we know that he's going to probably have to develop to become the guy. And we believe that he has the potential and the physical tools to do so. So he's going to have to, well, he's going to have to stay healthy. And then we're going to have to watch him play throughout an entire season. And to do that, you really have to sit Joe Flacco. Now, if you play Flacco, the question is, does that get you to the playoffs? And it might. It might. He looked okay today against, let's just call it how we see it, a cellar dweller. The Titans are not a good football team, and Flacco helped get the win today, but he wasn't great. He didn't look like Patrick Mahomes out there. So with Joe Flacco starting, we might be a playoff team. We've got a lot of holes on the defensive side of the ball. And because of that, I don't think you play Flacco for the season. Our team is not good enough. We're not a Joe Flacco away from a deep playoff run. If we were, I would probably have that conversation, but we're not. That's just where we're at. Joe Flacco probably helps get us in the playoffs, and I'm not sure if Richardson can do that, but we're not going deep in the playoffs anyway. So we've got to find out. We have to find out what Richardson is. And to do that, he's just going to have to play. We invested the 4th overall pick in this guy, and whether or not you believe in him or not, you have to give him a shot. And I think some fans like that instant gratification. We're kind of a microwave society where you push the button and things heat up in 30 seconds and you're ready to eat it. But the truth is, it's going to take some time to see who Anthony Richardson can become. And he's just got to play. And to judge a win off of the Titans and Joe Flacco being our season-long starter to kind of give up on Richardson, I don't think you can do that. We got a big home game coming up against the Dolphins, who are missing Tua. I'm not sure what the long-term outlook is on Tua, but we have a chance to win that game. And Anthony Richardson could start, play at home, get healed up, and play this game. Now, I did think that Richardson not playing today was a little strange. I felt that maybe there's potential that Flacco, maybe the coaches thought Flacco gave him a better chance to win, and which is what we just talked about. But beyond that, I think they're being smart with their rookie or with their second-year quarterback. If he is your franchise guy and he has had some injury history, I think sitting him for the game is probably the right move. And when you sit him for a guy who can probably actually give you a better chance to win, it seems like a no-brainer. That's just kind of my thoughts on the game today. Guys, I'd appreciate if you subscribe to our channel, comment your thoughts below, and until next time, thanks for watching the Common Colt Podcast.